Now, practicing scales, especially when it comes to string instruments, fretless ones like the violin or viola, cello, double bass, you've got to find the tuning of your notes. You've actually got to produce that. Now, I know this also applies to other instruments where the embouchure on a wind instrument, for example, will change the pitch of the note or the intonation. Now, you can do something about this using GarageBand. Now, what I've got here, I've just opened up a new file and I've selected, in fact, I'll do that again for you so that you can start it from scratch. We've got keyboard, smart piano. And instead of using the grand piano, I'm going to use an electric piano. The reason being is that you get a less complicated sound and you can actually hear more of the fundamental note. And if I demonstrate with an A minor chord. Now I can also, I'm going to take the chorus level down because I don't want my pitch to change. Or the tremolo. So, it's a very, very simple sound. So, I'm going to record, let's say we're doing C major. Now you can change the key by going into your menu and having your key signature. And you can also opt to follow the song key. Now this is very important to leave switched on because once you've recorded one major scale on GarageBand to practice with, you can change the key just by changing it on here and it'll shift all the chords. So you can do all of your violin scales, or your major scales at least, with one key. Now, of course, if you're practicing a 2-octave scale, you'll need to do a little bit of editing, or 3 octaves if you're grade 5 and above. So I'm going to just record C major. Now I'm just going to check that my 8 bars are automatic, which means that it will keep recording. So I'm going to do a similar thing to the pieces that I did just now on my other video. Please do check out my channel for lots of other content, including GarageBand things. So I'm going to start recording. Now I'm going to play along with that. I gave myself 2 bars of a C major chord to start with. That will enable me to find my note. So this is C major, which is a grade 4 scale, so it's second position, second finger. So I'm going to play along with that now. Here we go. So it went straight back to the beginning now. I could have extended that track slightly so that you can practice a scale and then it stops. Now, subsequent octaves. Now I purposefully played out of tune so that I could hear the sinusoidal aspect of that electric piano, which really does give me a bit of a good sort of handle on whether the note is in tune or not. Now I'm going to go back into my edit window from here and I've got the scale now. You can see 2 bars of C major and then it starts the scale at bar 3. Now I could take my cursor to bar 3 and I'm going to split that there. There we go. No, I'm going to undo that because first of all I've got to quantize. I accidentally split over a note. So I'm going to go to quantization and I'm going to select quarter note. It's crotchets. That is the coarsest possible adjustment you can make. So I'm going to go back in and split that again. So I've got my C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So I'm going to split at bar 10 as well. This means that I've got 1 octave's worth of my scale. Now if I extend the section A, now give myself plenty of room. There is my C major scale. this is going to be the termination of that scale, the last note of it. So I'm actually going to go from here, and I'm going to copy, put another thing here, so I've got a second octave. And then I'm going to put this one back here. So now when I come back down, I've got to make sure that I can play my scale coming down as well. So I'm going to record from here, and I'm going to put a smart, so I'm going to go C, G, A minor, G, F, E minor, D minor, C. So I'm going to do a similar thing, but this time have it completely in 2 octaves as well. So. So I'm also going to quantize that up. Make sure, oh, actually it's quantized because it's on the same track. It automatically does that. So, now, I don't want that little section there because in a scale you would only play one note at the top. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to reproduce, to split that there. Move this one out the way. Paste that, or copy it rather, and then paste it here, and then drag my scale there. So I've now got a 2 octave scale with an introduction. So this is C major, 2 octaves. Now I'm just going to speed this up a bit so it won't take 10 years to get through that scale. Okay, here we go. At that sort of reasonably slow tempo, it's possible then that you then learn all the physical things about maybe crossing the strings or where you put your fingers in subsequent sort of positions. Now you can of course speed this up, you know, you speed it up a long way. But you've got that metronome giving you a nice, a nice sort of reference as to how long that each note is going to last. Now, if I change the song key, let's try B flat major. What's happened now is that my notes have now changed, all the chords have changed, which means I can do my B flat major. So any major scale you can do with this. You can also do the same with the minor one. You've got to be a little bit more careful with the harmony because actually if you're doing grade 6 and above, an ABRSM, you have to do both harmonic and melodic minor forms. So you've got to think about how to program that up. But for your majors, it's really quite a nice way of doing this. You can hear something, you can work with something. In addition, obviously, when you're starting out playing a scale, you would just work out the positions on your own. But when you're ready to give it a crack with an accompaniment, it just makes all the difference. You find very often in singing lessons that the singing teacher will be playing the piano, doing the la da 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 la da 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 la, la, where they're going up in semitones. Now I know obviously there are no sort of positions on an instrument with the vocals, so perhaps that's a reason why that's done a bit more than it would be for another instrument. But it does make sense to do that with lots of instrumentalists as well, so that you're just working out, having a workout, I mean, with all of those keys. But there is a method of getting a scale onto GarageBand and using it with your violin, your oboe, your trumpet, your whatever.